Okay, part 2 of our small quilt study demo. At this point, I've taken all the pieces that I originally ironed of Wonder Under onto the back of my fabric, and I cut them all out, and then I've stacked them the way that I want my design to be. And I'm doing an abstract design, so at this point, if I wanted to, I could like rearrange all these pieces and kind of rework the composition, but I'm just gonna keep it the way that I had it in my initial sketch for simplification for now. And my next step is to peel the Wonder Under off the back of my collage pieces. I found when I was doing this in between the videos that the length of time in the previous video that I ironed the Wonder Under onto the back actually ought to have been a little bit longer to make sure that the adhesive is really getting transferred to the fabric. So I'm just gonna go over this piece again for, I guess it's been almost 30 seconds or so. So I know that it's really nice and hot, and that adhesive has transferred onto this piece of fabric. So for most of the pieces here, I've already done this step because it's kind of tedious, so I didn't want you to watch the whole thing. But basically, I'm just gonna peel off the paper of the back. It can be a little tricky to get it started. One quick tip is just to like put a tear in it. It won't, if you kind of go like this, just gently, it's not going to tear your fabric, but it will start to tear the paper. And it allows for you to take this off, sort of peel it. I'm trying to get it all off in one piece if I can. Nice, okay. And then lay it down in its spot, as I've already done for most of these other pieces, except for this one. So we'll do one more time. Put a little gentle rip in the side. That gives me access to start peeling off the back here of the circle. Got it. It looks like that shiny sort of mesh has been transferred to the back of the fabric, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, set that aside. And now I'm just gonna use heat again to put these all together. And I could do this, I could use the iron one piece at a time if I wanted, or I could just do it all at once. So I'm just gonna do it all at once. Go on top. And iron it just so that the pieces don't move. So notice I'm kind of lifting occasionally until I know that they're down. And then I can start to glide over when they're not going to move anymore. Use that heat for at least 30 seconds to get them all nice and stuck together, and let the Wonder Under do its job. Okay, so when I pick it up now, I can tell that this is all now one piece, which is great. And I don't want to stop here. I want to use thread now to construct, to make sure that all these pieces stay on here permanently, and to add a little bit of texture. So I'm gonna set my iron aside because I don't need that for a little while. And now I'm gonna make that classic quilt sandwich. So I've got a piece of batting, I've got a backing fabric, and then I've got my collage. And they're all kind of crudely cut, but I'm gonna trim them down. This can be done with scissors, or it can be done with a rotary cutter like I'm about to do. I'll swap out cutting mat. Get a ruler, my rotary cutter, and just trim all 3 layers down. And of course, like I said, this can be done with a pair of nice sharp scissors. I'm trying to keep this as squared off as possible. And frankly, the square part doesn't matter as much as just having right angles does. So that's my focus right now. Okay, sweet. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to trim it just a little bit more on this side. That side looks kind of off. All right, so now I'm ready to sew. So I'm going to take some pins to get myself set up before I move to the sewing machine so that these layers all stay together, all 3 layers of my quilt sandwich, my collage, my batting, and my backing piece. And just every couple inches, I'm going to put some pins perpendicularly. That pin's a little bent. I'm going to reject it. Move to my machine, so let me get that ready to go. Move the camera over. Sorry for the interruption here. Let's see if this will work. Okay. All right, so notice I've got my straight stitch on, or excuse me, my straight stitch presser fit. I'm already threaded both top and bottom thread. I've already done some tests. I know it's gonna look nice. And I am gonna zigzag stitch all the way around the outer edge of this. So of course, to set up the zigzag, first of all, I'm gonna make sure that this is straight up and down. For my needle position, I don't want it to the left or right. I just want it in the center. And I've got my zigzag, I'll set it to, let's say 4. And then my stitch length will go to 2. And that, you know, you can play around with it. That doesn't have to be precise. And all I'm gonna do at this point is line up my presser foot with the edge. So just like we did in our practice piece, I've got the edge kind of lined up with this center line. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm filming right now. I'm sorry.
So sorry. No, I'll come back.
Okay. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna do a zigzag stitch all around the outer edge. So I'll go just through that fast. Notice how I'm pivoting at the corners when I do that. Oops. And I just realized my stitch selection was not on this first stitch. So I just switched that. Okay. I'm going to make sure my needle's in at the corner. corner so that the needle's in the down position, and then pivot and continue. I'm sorry that the camera's moving so much. It is what it is right now. I'll get better at making these videos in time, I hope. Just working kind of with a wobbly table. Corner pivot, and then at the end here I'm gonna go ahead and lock my stitches by doing a back stitch. So let me zoom out so you can see what my, can I do that? There we go. So you can see what my other hand is doing over here for the back stitch. So going forward till I go over where it started at the beginning, then lift up with my right hand to go backwards and forwards again, and that's gonna really lock it in. Put my needle in the upright position using my hand on the hand wheel. Lift the presser foot, pull it out, snip my stitches, remove my pins. And at this point now I'm ready for the free motion stitching. So I'm gonna pause again and return for part 3 of the finishing touches.